Hey everyone, I'm SJ Molloy, author of the Luminara series. I've been asked to answer some questions from you lovely readers. This is part 2 of the video message, so here goes. Okay, question 1. I was wondering, how do you get your thoughts and ideas down before you forget them? Like, do you stop what you're doing and quickly jot it down or put it in your phone? That's what I do. Or do you just have a better memory than me? I have a shocking memory because I'm juggling so many things and multitasking. I do keep notepads. I have done ever since I was a little girl. My handbags are full of notepads. The table is covered in them. I keep post-its everywhere. I stick them in the fridge and, stick them on the kettle. And I keep everything in my phone. Genuinely, if I'm out of the house and something comes to me, I maybe pull the car over or whatever and I'll type something into my phone and save it. If I'm researching, I'll save links or whatever it may be, and I'll save everything into my phone. Okay, next question. What is your go-to for relaxing? To relax, I love exercising, walking my dog. I love the outdoors, so I like hill walking and nice long walks down by the river and things like that. My husband and I try and get out for nice meals and date nights when we're both not working. And every now and then we'll go away for a hotel overnight stay just to enjoy each other's company. Okay, what is your go-to when you have writer's block? When I have writer's block, I tend to put my earphones in and go outside. So I've not been great recently with going out running because I lack a lot of time. But before I would go out for long runs. Now I tend to go out walking with the dog and listen to music. It inspires me and it helps me switch off. I love reading. I'm an avid reader, so I maybe go away and read a couple of chapters of a book. Sometimes at night, I maybe have like a hot bath, read a book, and then the next morning I feel a lot fresher and maybe something will come to me and it'll disperse the writer's block. Okay. Does your family support your writing? Yes, they have all been great. When I decided to do this, I don't think any of us realised how demanding it would be on time, not just for me, but for everyone in the family. And it's been a huge, huge lifestyle change. I've went from being out the house all day and mostly every weeknight, teaching classes and being active and on the go to be sitting at a desk for sometimes 18, 19-hour days. It's a huge lifestyle change. Having said that, they have been so supportive. They have to be, because this can be a stressful, emotional roller coaster. But yeah, I have their full support, and I'm really grateful for that because I think that does make the difference. Okay. While writing this series, what scenes did you find extremely emotional for you? There's lots. With the series, it is very deep and profound, and it is an emotional journey. I found writing some of the scenes particularly heartfelt, and I am quite sensitive, so I do tap into the emotions of the story. I think for me, the relationship Lexi has with her brother was really important for me to get right. I have a great relationship with my own brother. I also have a brother who was tragically killed in a car crash, and I miss him terribly. So some of the scenes where Lexi and her brother are having a heart-to-heart, especially in the farmhouse in Tuscany in Lusuria, book 1, I found that quite emotional because I wanted to make sure I got that right. And scenes pertaining to Grace, Lexi's mum, she is, she's such a soul and she's been through so much. And I lost my own mum last year. And it does, it can, make me nostalgic or, make me think. But I do feel that if I am feeling emotion when I'm writing it, it will come through in the writing, or hopefully it comes through in the writing. And as a reader, I want you all to be able to feel every emotion that I write, so I hope it does come through. But yeah, it can be draining, it can be tiring, and sometimes, yeah, I do have to take a break because it is so intense and there's lots going on in the plot, and then I'll come back to it feeling a little bit refreshed. Okay, if you ever thought of turning Luminara into a movie, who would be your pick of actors and actresses to play the lead roles? Nina Dobrev for Lexi from Vampire Diaries. I think she would be perfect for Lexi. And for Luca, that's a hard one because in my imagination, the person that I envisage Luca to be would maybe completely different to you. You'll all have your own concepts, all have individual ideas, and that's great because I want him to be specific to you in your mind, and I don't want to, force an image of someone or an idea of someone, and you think, actually, I don't think he would be like that. And I watch movies and I think, oh, could he be Luca? Could he be Luca? And for me as a writer, and because obviously I created the character, I think, oh, nobody lives up to the standard of Luca. Having said that, acting wise, I think James Marsden would make a great Luca. He does romance movies very well. I think he could really pull it off. But that's just my opinion. You'll all have your own, and that's okay. Okay, I believe practice makes perfect. Oh God. Do you practice some of your hot scenes before hashing them out? Next, I'm going to skip purely because yeah, my husband might watch this. As you read while writing, how are you able to control over your emotions? You have to admit it is an emotional roller coaster. It is, it affects my mood daily. Essentially, I am living my own life, but I'm also taking on the life of these characters, as all authors do. They never leave our minds, so we think about them all the time. We're constantly wondering what they're saying, what they're doing, what's happening next. It's very hard to switch off from, and it can affect my moods. If it's a scene that's quite deep, or it's a raw scene, or a scene that's causes lots of conflict. Yeah, my moods can change, just like that. And there is a lot of bittersweet and tender and loving and romantic scenes in it as well, which does have the feel good factor. So it's about getting the balance right. But for me, if I was writing this and didn't feel any emotion, or my mood wasn't affected, then I don't think that I would be doing it justice. It can be hard, it can be challenging, but equally it's very pleasurable and it is rewarding. So for me, yeah, it does affect me hugely, and I just hope that when readers read it back, they feel their own emotions throughout the writing. Okay. So I really love Lexi's character. What was your decision making when creating her story? Same for Luca, two-part question. For me, Lexi was more important in the early stages when I was planning the series. She's so complex and I had to get her right. And in the first draft of Lusuria, I felt she was a little wishy-washy. There was just something that wasn't sitting right with me. My editors helped me, tear it apart and go back to the basics, go back to the beginning and tweak a lot of things, and that did help. That was a lot of work, but it had to be done, especially to help her character growth. So she was very important for me. I knew she would be, smart and sweet and kind and loving and caring. She would be vulnerable. She would be anxious. She's got all this backstory weighing on her shoulders, and she doesn't trust very well. So when I came to write Luca's character, I made sure that he was the character that I thought Lexi needed, not what I thought maybe I wanted to write about, read about, and I didn't give anyone else a thought. It was all Lexi, and I thought she would need someone like Luca to help her grow, to give her confidence, to make her feel loved. And that's really where his character came from. And, organically, it just took wings. And I didn't expect people to fall in love with Luca the way they did. I'm delighted that everyone has. But for me, in the early stages, Lexi was really about nailing her, getting her right, and I'm delighted that people are invested in her character. I was always worried. I always thought, what if she is coming across as being too anxious, too broken, too needy, and it's about getting it right. So if readers are falling in love with Lexi too, then I feel really blessed. That's really important to me. Thank you. Okay, who or what inspired you to write? My granny. She was a massive storyteller, like myself. She could tell stories like nothing else, and she was always scribbling and note taking. She wanted to write a book, and she never ever did. And when I was younger, I loved typing, and I went through a phase. I think at one point I had 3 typewriters, and she used to say, that's go out and play. That's not healthy. You're typing all day. And I said, but I love it. And she said, well, if you love it that much, then that's what you're going to do. You'll tell stories. And I said to her that I wanted to be the next Enid Blyton, and she would encourage me and say, no, you'll be anything that you want to be if you put your mind to it. I'm sure you can. I believe in you, and I know you'll do it. So in a way, I'm honouring her memory, and I know it's something she wanted to do and never did, and I know it's something that she would have wanted me to do, because I did always want to try creative writing. And also, you may or may not know this, I have a dear friend, another author, Leslie Jones. She's the author of Saviour and Carnage, and we lived next to each other in Australia, and we kept in touch. And she sent me an early stage of Saviour, even way before beta read stage. And she said, I've started writing, and I'm going to write and publish books. And I just thought, wow, I commended her, praised her, said, that's wonderful, I'm so proud of you, I'd love to do it. And she said, do it, just do it. And she gave me lots of support and lots of help, and more or less, gave me the push that I needed. And if it wasn't for that, I would probably still be wondering what if. So, I need to give massive thanks to Leslie. Okay, last question. Actually, no, sorry, I've got 2 more. Being Australian, I have to chuck in a question about the connection of Lexi and Australia. Was there any reason you chose Australia as the place of her pain? Was there a real life person you based Michael and Simon on? The reason I chose Australia is because in the early stages, the notes that I had scribbled, Grace was always going to be a backpacker, and she would be abducted and consequently be a victim of Stockholm Syndrome. And I thought, what better place to backpack than Australia? She would be travelling for a year. Also, I found it easy to make references and describe the location and places or people, purely because I have lived there. And that's the reason I chose Australia. Obviously, Scotland and Tuscany are both locations within the book, and same applies. I found that I could relate to this and easily describe these locations. Simon and Michael aren't based on anyone real life, past or present. They are purely a product of my imagination. I am aware that there is a huge tragedy which happened in real life regarding the backpacker killings and murders. It's nothing at all to do with that. It's not associated to that in any shape or form. It's purely an idea that I had. I'd done lots of research and I read lots of books on Stockholm Syndrome before I started, and that's the reason that I chose Australia for that. Okay, last question. How do you come up with such amazing books? You're very talented. Thank you, whoever wrote that question. I just write, I just storytell, and I don't think that I don't feel talented or skilled. I just like telling stories, and for me, it's still really nerve-wracking. It's still so new, and even now, every time I bring the next book out, I wonder how will it be received. You know, I'll go through all these emotions and stages, and I'll think, you know, why do I do this? Because I end up worrying myself sick. But ultimately, yeah, it began as a hobby, if you like, and I just started telling stories, and I'm just blown away that people are reading them and investing themselves in this story. Okay, so that's question 2 part of the video message. If you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to email me, author@sjmolloy.com. Check out my website, sjmolloy.com. Follow me Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, TSU, Goodreads, Instagram. I'm sure there's a lot more, I can't think. And yeah, pick the books up, give them a read, tell me what you think, drop me an email, comment, post. And Luminoso Book 4 will be available soon. I'm working on that just now. So if you haven't read the first 3 in the Luminara series, go and read them now. Thanks everyone. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.